Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are in this beautiful planet. Welcome to our webinar, The BPO Dilemma, Striking the Right Balance Between Quality and Productivity. I'm your host, Rodrigo Fernandez, Vice President of Growth and Revenue Operations at Time Doctor. At Time Doctor, our mission is simple: to support organizations by providing adaptable accountability and productivity analytics. These tools will harmoniously fit into your company culture, location, and size. Today, we're tackling a big issue: how to keep quality high and still get stuff done in the BPO world. If you're in the business, you know this is a hot topic. And we're here to answer your questions and offer some real world solutions that you can actually use. So let me introduce our awesome guest for today. First up, we have Grace Cartwright. Grace is Senior Content Specialist at Claw, a platform dedicated to elevating customer service quality. With a keen eye on meaningful content and a passion for industry trends, Grace has an incredible talent for dissecting complex issues and presenting them in an easily digestible manner. Grace, welcome to the webinar. We're delighted to have you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and super happy to be here too.
Excellent. Next, let me introduce you to Kseniia Barchenko, the Chief Learning and Development Officer at Your Support App, Support Your App, a firm committed to top-notch customer support solutions. Kseniia is an expert in human capital development and has been instrumental at crafting educational programs that drive both productivity and quality. Kseniia, we're thrilled you could join us today.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
So there you have it. We're in for a fantastic hour filled with insights, expertise, and hopefully some answers to the old age dilemma of quality versus productivity in the BPO sector. As a quick heads up, before we get started, everyone's mic is automatically set to mute to keep things clear on our end. If you've got questions or comments, go ahead and drop them in the Q&A and chat box at any time. We'll have a Q&A at the end and we'll try to tackle as many of your questions as we can. Sounds good? All right, let's get this show on the road. As we get started, let's look at our agenda. Here's a sneak peek into what we're going to be talking about today. We'll kick things off with Kseniia, who will provide us with a contextual understanding of the BPO industry. Following that, we'll delve into the old age challenge: quality versus productivity. What does it really mean? And why is it so crucial? I'll then share some insights into the importance of productivity and how it drives the BPO sector. Grace will take the baton to discuss the significance of quality, emphasizing its role in ensuring customer satisfaction and business growth. We'll also touch upon the inherent tension between quality and productivity, a topic many of us grapple with daily. Kseniia will then present some compelling case studies and strategies that have successfully balanced quality and productivity. As we move forward, we'll explore the role of technology in this balance. How can tech solutions and integrations help us achieve our goals? I'll share Time Doctor's unique approach to this challenge, shedding light on how we prioritize both productivity and quality. Grace will then introduce you to Klaw's approach, giving you a perspective on how different organizations tackle the same challenge. We'll wrap up our discussion by exploring how to integrate various tech solutions for achieving that perfect balance. And of course, we'll have a dedicated Q&A session at the end, and we encourage you to please ask questions, share your experiences, and engage with us throughout this presentation. So gear up for a session packed with insight, strategies, and real-world solutions. And so without further ado, let's get this ball rolling. I'm going to hand it over to Kseniia, who will give us the 411 on the BPO industry and where it stands today. Kseniia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Um, I'd like to start off with saying that any shift in the IT industry directly influences the BPO sector. Having partnered with various companies, we have noticed that businesses are no longer looking for traditional outsourcing, meaning agents that would reply to simple requests quickly. But they want to find an extension of their in-house team, a third party that would support their values and provide quality service. And this is something that we offer at SupportYourApp. How is this different? Being a support as a service company, we've elaborated a part of our processes around our client experience. The approach should transcend, if you will, traditional outsourcing, since clients prefer those partners who could help them with any customer support related process. Clients are looking for expertise and an all in one solution. It's not only about finding and managing agents now. For example, at SupportYourApp, we have a dedicated team who can professionally set up ticket workflows, prioritization, reporting, and more from scratch in some well-known help desk. And this is a part of our client onboarding. We also have a CRM developed by our internal tech team and other solutions. So businesses are looking for expertise and guidance to ensure that their customer support operations are as smooth as possible. Another tendency in business and the BPO sector as well is partnering to leverage each other's strengths. Let's say a BPO wants to provide this all in one solution that clients are looking for, but certain areas are not their main focus at the moment. So they partner with other companies to help each other grow, similarly to how we partnered with Klaus and Time Doctor to deliver this webinar. And in my opinion, the real magic happens at the intersection of technology and humans. Quality and customer management platforms, chatbots, AI, and automating routine processes can enable human agents to be faster when focusing on quality and personalization with the replies, because that's also of utmost importance. For example, by using generative AI, support teams can decrease their average handle time, hence improve their productivity, and also enhance the first reply time. It can also help to analyze data, classify tickets, and so on. So technology gives agents an opportunity to take on some challenging matters and tickets, something that requires the human touch. And this combination of AI and the human touch introduced the term of an augmented agent. Maybe you've heard of this term online. This is an agent who uses AI powered tools and technologies to better assist customers. While technology enables customers to get quick replies, it's really essential to balance it with the human touch to build this emotional connection with customers. Many sources agree that customer experience is a key competitive differentiator, and the human touch can increase customer loyalty and retention. And last but not least, cybersecurity and data privacy have become an acute subject across the world as a consequence of working remotely to some extent. So BPOs are required to be compliant and certified in order to process any customer data. At SupportYourApp, we are GDPR and CCPA compliant, as well as we have some security certifications in the frameworks of ISO and PCI DSS. So those are the main factors that are in the BPO sector right now, something that have shifted, have changed, and something that we're adapting. Maybe Rodrigo, Grace, you have anything to add to this challenge and to this topic?
I agree wholeheartedly with everything you were saying there. I think, yes, the biggest thing is just customer expectations, and they are higher than ever before. I mean, yes, our technology capabilities allow customer service departments to be much more aware before, as they were maybe in, even a few years ago, and similarly allow them to deliver much more personalized experiences than they could several years ago. However, customer expectations have driven up just at the same pace, if not more. A brand is judged by the best experience that a customer has ever had in any customer support interaction. So therefore, there is just even more competitive nature to the business itself. And in BPOs in particular, and Ksenia, maybe you'll agree on this, many of them have an even harder challenge with agent attrition. And with agent attrition being higher, it means all the more reason to invest in quality, invest in productivity to make sure that you're falling down on what you've already promised the client.
Yes, yes, for sure. The world is changing, and on the one hand, it's always great to have something that we were used to have, but on the other hand, it's nice to see how, like, what else we can achieve together with partnering and with providing all those new services, including AI related ones.
Yeah, it's as exciting as it is challenging, I think, probably across the board in all of our jobs as much as in everything else, really.
And I think in a world where data is king, and we are measuring everything, right? We from the devices that we wear in our hands. We're measuring our health, and the same thing with our productivity. The concepts of cybersecurity and privacy are at the top of mind of most of BPO customers, of all BPO customers, particularly those in the more highly regulated areas. So being able to offer a service that is fully compliant with GDPR, with HIPAA, with all of the various regulations is critical. And having a tool that will measure and capture all of those events also acts as a bit of an insurance policy for all of the BPOs out there, because it it it, it levels the playing field and ensures that the data is treated in the safest manner possible, and everyone within the organization is compliant. Excellent. Well, let's move
Sure.
now. Let's dive a little deeper into the core challenges within the BPO sector: quality versus productivity. At a glance, it seems pretty straightforward concept, but there's so much more depth into it. Um, and so here we have, when we talk about client expectations in the BPO sector, we're essentially discussing two pillars: high productivity and high quality. Grace, how do you see these expectations shaping the way BPOs operate?
I I think there's two different aspects to this. There's from the client point of view, there's the need to keep costs down. There's the need to be consistent and to make sure that you are compliant and accurate in everything you answer, which is, of course, the quality side of things. But then similarly, there's the pressure from the customer, right? Is to delivering something that is as high quality as it is fast and answer to. And I think this is shaping the way that BPOs operate very much because, you know, customer service is not seen as a separate entity from brand reputation in and of itself. Yes, the team might be outsourced. However, to the customer, that doesn't actually make a difference, right? So even though you've got these pressures from two different sides, you still have to fulfill exactly the same promise that you have made at the beginning to your client and to your customer, really.
Yeah, indeed. And Ksenia, from your experience, how do BPOs manage the pressure of delivering both timely and accurate results?
So this is something that, like, we have a few strategies, and I wanted to talk more about that later during this presentation. But for now, I will just agree with you guys that it's indeed challenging and still important to keep, high productivity and high quality. And there might be some ways to achieve that. Let's find out later.
Absolutely. As we look into our next slide here, productivity is vital, but balance ensures sustainability, right? And so actually, quality defines reputation, but its pursuit should empower and not overwhelm. So when we talk about quality, which is a defining factor for reputation, its pursuit can sometimes lead to challenges. And Grace, how do you see the overemphasis on quality affecting BPO operations?
I think the biggest problem is when things become overcomplicated and then they are impossible to scale, particularly in large teams or in growing teams. You know, when we see a lot of customers who come in looking for a quality solution, we ask them, of course, what tools they've used before. And a lot of the time it's spreadsheets. And of course, that hinges on so much vulnerability because you are, dealing with multiple columns, multiple tags, multiple users, and probably nothing is really set in stone. So therefore, everything starts to fray at the edges. And this is made even more difficult if you have agent attrition or manager attrition, or if somebody gets promoted or something, then suddenly the owner of this process leaves, and then there is no control over it itself, right? So the big one when you want to focus on quality is actually trying to simplify things as much as possible. And of course, I'm a representative of Klaus, so I'm going to say this, but technology really is there to make sure that you're streamlining everything to make it simple for everybody. And it's not something that's making people feel like they have someone looking over their shoulder and micromanagement. It's not something that they feel like their tech stack is too heavy and they're having to switch tabs between everything, but it is just one platform or like a few different platforms that is making them, like, supporting them in their job, right? And supporting them in being as good a customer service agent as possible and delivering the best experience possible. And it isn't something that's actually going to be a burden on their autonomy and also on them just fulfilling the job that they, have been trained to do.
Indeed. And Ksenia, in your experience, how can BPOs ensure quality without overwhelming their teams or complicating processes? As Grace mentioned, right, simplifying things is important.
So, like to expect something from agents, we should, of course, make sure that they have all necessary tools to achieve that. So, when it comes to quality, if we have a requirement to score 95%, right, of quality, or even customer satisfaction or any other KPI, first, what we do is we check if we have all the necessary tools, all the necessary materials, training materials, checkups, just to help agents meet this expectation. And I believe that at some point, maybe at the beginning, when it's just a company has scaled, or it's a startup, um, first, when they are not sure what they would like to assess in their QA procedure, probably it should be a bit, have like a bit more steps. But then, of course, it's okay to simplify, because it just, we should look at this, at the customer service, from a different perspective. And while for some companies it's really important to reply within 2 minutes, and that's their like highest priority. For others, where the product is more complicated, it's okay to ask customer to wait, and to take time to investigate. So, in my opinion, from my experience, first, it can be, the QA procedure can be more complicated, but then with times, as we rectify all processes, it's becoming easier and easier. But I totally agree with Grace about spreadsheets. That's just one of my favorite topics to discuss, because, good old.
To add to what you were saying as well, I think the importance is knowing that there is one definition of quality. And I don't mean, one sentence, but like one scorecard with however many categories you decide to have and however many standards you decide to hit is important. And I think that completely varies across team and product, right? It's not a one size fits all. It's very much an effort that everyone needs to be on board with and understand. It should be such a part of onboarding is, knowing what you're expected to deliver and knowing what priorities are too, because everybody would like to be perfect, but it's not unfortunately not realistic, whereas having certain standards certainly helps everyone work to a certain destination.
Totally agree.
Yes. All right. So looking at productivity, the impact of productivity, which of course can include burning out and high attrition, unsustainable scaling. So while productivity is undeniably essential, there is, I think, a fine line between achieving it and overdoing it a bit. Ksenia, can you shed some light on the pitfalls of overemphasizing productivity?
Well, overemphasizing productivity in most cases means that our quality may be sacrificed, but it's always great to have this balance, and that's why we are here to discuss the strategies how to achieve it. But yeah, I mean, it might also be a part of the client journey when they like try and they're looking for the right ways to meet their customer needs. Because of course, if maybe if it's like e-commerce service, for them it's important to reply quickly with some macros and some small personalization, while for other companies, they are focused more on the investigation part, right? As I mentioned before, but of course, it's a pitfall to have productivity on the scale, and like to focus only on this part of the balance. And in the long run, I think that customers, they still tend to, if we want them to be loyal to the product, if we want them to be loyal to the company, we should still build this connection and um, look into the quality and customer satisfaction as well, and not only productivity, because in the long run, every business wants to have their customers who would support them, who would recommend them to their friends, who would promote them on social media and so on. So yeah, keeping the right balance is really out there. It's a dilemma, and uh, there are ways to to deal with it.
Indeed, and I think it's quite evident from the feedback that from this conversation alone that both quality and productivity are essential. And the key lies in striking the right balance, as this presentation, this webinar is all about. So as we move forward, we'll explore strategies and solutions to achieve this effectively. Grace will now talk to us about the significance of quality in BPO operations. So Grace, please take it away.
Absolutely. So we talked before about, customer expectations being higher, and also just customer support being connected to the customer experience in general. It's not just a company or a brand being judged on the product or the service itself. It's just every single touch point of the journey, right? And so customer support is a huge part of that, making sure that when something does go wrong, as unfortunately is inevitable sometimes, that is dealt with as seamlessly as possible. And because of that, we have discussed like this earlier in the presentation, that BPOs are, by default, an extension of the brand of their clients themselves. That doesn't mean it's easy. BPOs have a difficult situation and that they, have to fulfill the promise to their client, but they're also, having to manage usually large teams of agents. And that means that any step that they take to make sure that they are supporting both sides of this is very beneficial for them. From the Klaus point of view, when we talk about quality, we're really talking about bringing every team to its highest possible potential. That's not to sacrifice productivity, but it's just to make sure that you are committing to your customer, and every agent is really empowered in being the best that they can be, and also delivering and fulfilling in a role that hopefully they enjoy as well. From the BPO point of view, for client retention, I mean, obviously, providing quality customer support has to be proven through data. We've touched on this many times. We live in a world where everything is data driven, or if it's not, then it certainly aspires to be. And having a quality tool means that you can have the reports to really, you can show the receipts of that. It is also cost savings. I mean, that one is relatively self-explanatory. The fewer mistakes, the more knowledgeable a customer service agent is, the better their tech stack to support them in answering a question on time and, to the best of their ability. Therefore, you're saving on time itself because you're reducing the handle time. You are also saving in customer churn at the end of the day as well. We talk about that in terms of customer churn to the actual customer you're talking to, but also in terms of client retention as well. The cost savings on retaining clients is obviously very high for BPOs as well. We touched on before about defining quality in an internal point of view and making sure that you are measuring every interaction in in regards to your own scorecard and your own defined quality parameters. But that also means to external standards, so customer surveys and what the customers are saying. The reason we talk about, at Klaus, we talk about these two is because it really is a balance. Obviously, the customer opinion is very important. However, they don't know everything, right? They don't know exactly what rules and processes any customer service agent needs to follow. So customer satisfaction surveys and any kind of NPS surveys of the same degree needs to be brought into measure with the internal standards that are set and that are followed too. So that is the reason that we encourage regular reviews, regular trainings, and also encourage everyone who's involved in quality analysis to be aware of all of these parameters at once. So it's about looking at the data and, making practical decisions and making practical improvements on top of that. And at the end of the day, we touched on agent attrition. This really does lead to the empowered workforce that I think everyone wants. And, the longer you retain an employee, the better they are to you as well. So every year at Klaus, we conduct a benchmark report and we talk about how thousands of companies around the world measure their quality. So 92% of teams with over 50 agents, which is perhaps many of the people in the audience here, will have dedicated quality professionals. How they assess the quality, it does completely depend. As you can see, many still use spreadsheets. Many do use a dedicated QA software like Klaus. And that number is growing, luckily, as people realize what the tech can do and how these apps can support you and help support your team. And this is a featured story that we have in our case studies. Glovo, as many of you know, is a global delivery service, and they use support teams from BPOs around the world. They had a huge issue with their quality program just being completely siloed, and there was no single point of focus for them to be able to assess how teams were meeting certain standards and also how to conduct trainings in accordance to that. The more they grew, the harder this became as this happens. And luckily, with applying Klaus across all of the BPOs that they use around the world, it put everything into a single point of focus, and it meant that they were able to they were able to measure everyone with the same ruler type thing. And by that I mean, it just means that there were not spreadsheets or different quality programs or even different setups everywhere. It meant that they had a dedicated team that could actually understand what was going on in their entire customer support, which it isn't easy, but it's something at Klaus we definitely like to help out with very much. And yeah, that's. I will talk a little bit more about Klaus later on and the specifics of our features. But yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk on quality.
Thank you so much, Grace. Now let's dive a bit into a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and is central to the BPO industry, which is productivity. Now, when we talk about productivity, it's not just about churning out tasks or meeting quotas. It's about balancing expectations, really. Now, imagine a bridge bearing the weight of countless vehicles. If the pressure becomes too much, the bridge could collapse. Similarly, in the BPO sector, too much pressure without the right balance can break the system. But when managed correctly, productivity can be a driving force with sustainable growth. So, why does productivity matter? Well, let's break it down. The first one is client satisfaction. At the heart of any service industry is the client. And when we deliver services efficiently and on time, we build trust and loyalty. A satisfied client is not just a repeat customer, but also an ambassador for our services, which also leads to operational efficiency, which is another aspect of productivity. Streamlined processes are the backbone of a productive BPO. And by reducing cost and maximizing output, we ensure that our operations run like a well oiled machine. Productivity also gives us a competitive edge. In a saturated market, productivity can be our differentiator. A BPO that delivers more in less time stands out, attracting potential clients and setting industry benchmarks. Productivity improves employee morale. It's essential to remember that our employees are at the forefront of this productivity drive. A productive environment is it just reanimates individuals. Um, we are able to see quite tangible results on these efforts, boost job satisfaction. And when our teams are happy, attrition rates drop. Productivity also maximizes our profit. At the end of the day, increased output combined with controlled costs directly impacts our bottom line. And productivity is not just an operational metric, it is a key financial indicator. In essence, productivity is the lifeblood of the BPO industry. It's the bridge between client expectations, employee satisfaction, and business growth. Grace, when we talk about the tension between quality and productivity, it's something that every BPO grapples with. From your perspective, what are some of the most common trade offs that businesses make in this regard?
It touched on what I was saying before with, not having the best programs or processes in place. But I think the biggest trade off is just not looking at the long run, is, focusing too much on cost savings in the short run and not looking at exactly how, with better training and with a closed feedback loop, then you can create a well oiled machine that means that there actually isn't a tension between these two, right? You are nurturing agents to be as productive as possible and to deliver to the best quality that they can. And that really means, it means strong management. And when I say that, I don't mean micromanagement, but a strong management and also strong processes. And with that, a certain amount of reflection too. What works today might not work tomorrow, and it might not be the best thing available for you tomorrow. Um, we have already talked, and everyone will be very aware of how much technology is changing, and being open to new solutions is very, very important, especially with just the shifting ground that customer support is at the moment, I think.
Indeed, and we put this slide together to make an illustrative point here, right? And imagine you're running a pizza place. customers want their pizza quickly, but they also want them to be delicious and well made. And you have two main choices, right? Make pizza super fast so you can serve more customers in less time. And this is like focusing on productivity. But if you're moving too quickly, you might not spread the sauce evenly, or you may forget some toppings. I play this game with my kids all the time. The pizza may just come out burnt or undercooked. Now, on the other side, if you take your time with each pizza, ensuring the perfect combination in every way, this means that fewer mistakes will be made, and you will have very happy customers because of the high quality. However, if you spend too much time with each pizza, customers might have to wait longer, and then you'll have to serve fewer people. So I love the pizza analogy because it's relatable. It's and it's easy to understand. It's made for a good laugh. But Grace,
And it
in your
makes everyone
experience,
hungry.
and it makes everyone hungry. That's right. In your experience, how do BPOs handle this pizza dilemma? Ksenia, you as well. Do they tend to lean more towards speed or perfection?
Okay, so I'm gonna take this one. Um, you know, I think that all businesses, all product or service companies, they try to be somewhere in between, right? And they try to use different approaches here and there, maybe defining peak hours when the pizza is more desirable and have more people working during that shift. And of course, if we're talking about pizza, there are also some, continuous improvement methodologies that help define any process that has this waste, like any action that is not does not add value to this whole process of making pizza or delivering pizza. So that's actually this question has a really a lot of points to think over. But I should say that using this or that approach, companies want to find this balance. And as I mentioned before, that maybe at the beginning, they're just learning about customers and they're not sure what way to use better. But then with times, they will understand how to run the customer service, and of course with the help of BPOs, with the help of their and our expertise and technology, that's for sure. Fewer spreadsheets, more management systems, and so on. So I think it's all about the balance, and I would not say that quality or productivity is more important. So yeah, it's all about the balance.
And I guess going back slightly to what we were saying before, the balance looks slightly different depending on the product and depending on the company as well. And the important thing is to look at the customer expectation first, right? And see where you want to go with that. Does that mean 2 minutes? Does that mean 2 hours? Does that mean via email? Does that mean via chat? And making sure that you're putting the right thing in priority.
Yes, and first they need to, learn more about their customers, to check the data, to check their all the comments that they share with support agents. That's customer feedback is really a great place to have the improvement ideas on how to develop a product or service. So for sure.
Absolutely. Boyle's law, which is now shown on the screen, is an interesting way to frame this challenge. Moving from the pizza example into something more scientific. Um, Ksenia, in the context of a BPO, how do you see organizations navigating these inverse relationship between productivity and quality?
So productivity and quality, those are one of the main factors. And we also, when we say quality, sometimes we not only mean QA, right, as it is, but also other KPIs that are there. So of course, that's just, I think, misconception at some point that quality and productivity do not go together and they go in different directions, because every business who are interested in their customers, and of course most businesses are, they're interested in their customer retention, loyalty, and so on. So they are, and together with us, we are all together looking into this customer feedback, looking into how we can improve our replies or reply times, productivity, or maybe there is a new KPIs that we need to focus on more. And maybe it's not only about those well-known ones, but something different, like let's say call handling time, right? Maybe there are some products where customers want us to spend more time on calls with them. And yeah, sometimes productivity might decrease, but the quality will increase. So that definitely depends on industry and the customers. And we've discussed today that it's really important to learn about customers. But yeah, I think that productivity and quality, they should go, as parallel lines. Yeah, it's a perfect picture, but anyway, that's what we are trying to achieve here.
Excellent. And let's dive a little deeper, Ksenia. You have a wealth of experience with this balancing act between both productivity and quality. So take it away and drive us through some of those strategies.
Of course, Rodrigo, it's a pleasure. So, first of all, we should understand that balancing quality and productivity is an ongoing process that requires constant effort. So, it's not that once we, achieved this balance that nothing is going to change or something. That's something that always changes, always grows, and sometimes that does not depend on the product, but just on the environment. And this stands true both for growing companies, where they only start learning about their customers' behavior, wants, and needs, and for businesses that are about to scale up. And the formula is different depending on the business, its industry, the company size. But here are some main points on how to achieve this balance. First, we should establish clear guidelines and standards for customer support. This includes many things. Some of them are like tone of voice, response times, daily workflow, and escalation procedures. So we should look into each single process and have everything clear and consistent across the board. We should make it as detailed as possible, and it finally may lead to quality and to productivity as well. There should also be clear performance metrics and quality assurance procedures. These metrics should, of course, be based on the business goals and previous data. For example, if the customer satisfaction score across the team has been at, I know, like 60% level for more than a year for some reason, agents should not be expected to score 90% or 95% next month unless the business runs an extensive analysis and is open to changes, because everything starts with the data, with the previous data, with how customers reacted to this or that interaction. And that's where we start to base our performance metrics. And then, of course, with times, this score and this metric grows higher and higher. Both clear guidelines and performance metrics, they serve as pillars for agents and for managers to lean on when making their daily customer support decisions. And they help agents understand their journey better, motivate them, and be in line with the business and product goals, because when they see their goals, that's they feel more confident that something that they do is really impacts the whole company and not only customer service. To meet those metrics, though, agents should be equipped with the necessary hard and soft skills, as well as problem-solving techniques to tackle a wide range of customer inquiries effectively. The learning and development function identifies areas for performance metrics using not only QA results, but also other subtle techniques and checkouts, but that's a whole different topic for another 1 hour to discuss. And I've mentioned that it's an ongoing process to balance quality and productivity, simply because what was true before might no longer be valid down the road. As we all know, reality can change due to unpredictable events, like it was with COVID and now with AI. So this practice of continuous improvement, where processes and approaches are regularly reviewed and there are different methodologies on how to achieve that, is something that directly impacts both quality and productivity. Personally, for us, Six Sigma works really good, and that's something that we've been using when we want to check our processes, when we want to investigate this or that event. And we also discussed about customer pain points. Acting on those pain points that agents share, for example, leads to improving support operations, leads to improving the whole customer experience. We also discussed today about technology. And this is something that we always highlight for our clients. And even now, there might be some cases when people use really powerful help desks, but for some reason, they still have QA in spreadsheets. Or they might keep some data on their Google Drive instead of a CRM. So that's why when we just start cooperating with our clients, we of course check the systems that they use to ensure that agents have all the tools to be as productive as possible, and being productive and having these tools will lead to higher quality because they have more time to analyze the requests. And like using those effective and relevant tools ensures that we also manage time efficiently. So that's why looking into that is one of our priorities. And similar applies to when we automate a part of our routine tasks or set up a ticket routing or escalation. This ensures that urgent requests are prioritized and handled first. Defining peak hours also helps companies allocate agents' resources to meet their customer needs. That's also important to keep this in mind, and this is one of the strategies that we use. And if a business wants to try to ensure that agents receive mostly the cases that they need human assistance, they may implement self-service for customers, for example, FAQs that we all know about and chatbots. But that's really nice to to check if clients have this in place, because in the long run it will help agents to focus on more difficult requests. And providing multi-channel support and understanding the importance of social media support these days has become a must for all businesses, regardless of the industry. So long story short, it's definitely worth focusing on harmonizing technology and the human touch to deliver great productivity without sacrificing quality. So those are the main strategies, and the formula is different, so some companies might combine like first and second steps, while others need more technology. So yeah, it's really exciting to see how companies and clients' customer service grows with our help.
Thank you, Ksenia. Absolutely. Now let's dive straight into how technology addresses our core challenges from automation and artificial intelligence, workforce analytics, quality management, collaboration tools. In short, um, technology equips us to balance quality and productivity, setting new industry standards. Now, to give us a deeper understanding of how quality can be elevated in the BPO sector, I'd like to invite Grace to share insights about Cloth, a platform dedicated to enhancing customer service quality. Grace.
Unmute myself might be a good idea. So really what our entire tool is about is making your teams better at what they do and driving just the best quality possible, as you've heard many times over this talk already. So essentially the way that that is done is through conversation reviews and regular conversation reviews. Now, we've touched on the fact that many teams still use spreadsheets for that, whereas instead our quality management platform allows you to keep all of that quality process in one spot. And that's from the review data to the training data to, tracking everything on a dashboard to make sure that performance is kept as not even as consistent as possible, but is following a kind of progress as much as possible as well. Our AI features are obviously integral to the part that to making that easier for you. So one of the most popular ones is customer sentiment analysis, making sure that you can look at conversations with that viewpoint too, to analyze maybe where something is going wrong, where there is negative customer sentiment, and pinpoint any weak areas in the agent performance. Or on the converse side, see what is making your customers happy and understanding positive sentiment from that aspect as well. And the way that Klaus is managed is that you can apply the exact same rubric across languages, across countries. It doesn't matter how global your team, we're here to help you scale and help you scale your performance as you do that too. And yes, our clients use us to make sure they really have a good understanding of what the customer support performance looks like. I think customer service conversations has been seen in the past as this huge black box. We are there to open that and to look at not only what agents are saying, but what customers are saying, and to understand that, the power that support teams have really in making customers happy is been overlooked for far too long. And instead of being a cost center, we would like them to be viewed more as a profit center. And in using tools like Klaus, that's certainly possible because you're giving power to your agent. You're making sure that every single interaction is, reaped at the most potential possible. And you're using that to create a fantastic experience for your customers, and one that will hopefully boost not only all of the metrics and make sure your data is all looking nice, but at the end of the day, boost loyalty and referral too, because that is what the end game is. And this is a little bit about the different packages that we offer. So we also offer customer surveys as well, which are fully customizable, as well as the QA suite, so you can balance the internal and the external scores. For coaching, to make sure that that gap is closed, to make sure that you're engaging and empowering your agents with data-driven trainings and coachings, and you're coaching where it's actually necessary as well. You're using the data from reviews to really pinpoint examples where things could have gone better, or on the converse, examples where things went very well. And our AI suite is developing every single day. I'm very excited to show you our Auto QA dashboard. So Auto QA is really the headline feature of Klaus this year. I think AI is a term that almost all of us will be bored of now. But this is putting it, our data team have been working so hard to make sure this is really, really something exciting that we can deliver. This is something that allows you to have 100% coverage. We've talked a lot about productivity. We're well aware that QA analysts do not have the time in the day to review every single conversation. Our Auto QA can do that. It can score it on very popular categories like grammar in every language. It can score against things like tone, things like greeting and closing, and our offering is expanding every single day as well. as far as Klaus goes with your BPO, what we often help BPOs do is prove to a client from the outset that they have this as a priority by saying that you've got Klaus as part of your tech stack, and by showing the receipts of it on a monthly or quarterly or weekly basis. It just proves that you're honoring their commitment to their customers. And this is a short quote from WeWow, who's one of our partners as well, on how we've helped them improve efficiency and, at the end of the day, customer satisfaction too. And the way that we do this is by no means limited. It's very much global, and it's very much something that we like to see customers grow as we grow. And I've accidentally gone on to the next slide, so I think this is a cue for Rodrigo to start.
Thanks so much, Grace. Well, I'll talk a little bit about Time Doctor. In the BPO industry, the challenge of balancing quality and productivity is ever present. And so Time Doctor isn't just about tracking time. It's a comprehensive solution that guides businesses through a structured approach. And with Time Doctor, you're capturing real-time workday analytics, diving deep into insights that reveal patterns, strengths, and areas of improvement. And these insights aren't just numbers, they're actionable data points that empower businesses to refine processes, boost morale, and maximize output. And the result, well, is a harmonious blend of quality and, and productivity that drives sustainable growth. And so I want to walk you through a couple of the key features within Time Doctor that act as your all in one productivity powerhouse. First one is automated time tracking. And Time Doctor redefines time management by seamlessly logging worked hours, projects, and tasks, ensuring every moment is accounted for. Features like out of start tracking and inactivity reminders, it ensures a smooth workflow, making manual tracking a thing of the past. Email notifications, staying ahead with Time Doctor's tailored notifications, from monitoring productivity levels to ensuring work-life balance, so that you know when your teams are burning out or working as productively as they could be. You can customize our email notifications to your needs to ensure you're always in the loop without being overwhelmed. We also offer work schedules and attendance reports. Whether you're setting up daily, weekly, or monthly schedules, Time Doctor offers a user-friendly options tailored to your team's needs. Real-time dashboards and reports provide insights, ensuring punctuality and adherence to work schedules. And screenshots and video screen recording. Transparency and accountability are paramount in today's remote work environment. And many BPOs use this also as insurance policy because they're able to capture screenshots and ethically video screen recordings as well. And we offer both of those things, and they're customizable, allowing for a balance between transparency and privacy, with options like blurred screenshots, the ability to delete sensitive images, customized screen recording settings. We both comply with HIPAA and other privacy regulations, as well as proof of work while respecting individual privacy. This is just a snapshot. Time Doctor's suite of features is designed to elevate team productivity and ensure that harmony between quality and productivity. I want to walk you very quickly through one of our customers, Dentistry Support. Dentistry Support is an outsourcing powerhouse for US dental practices, and they had some productivity challenges. With a fully remote team spanning multiple countries, Dentistry Support grappled with ensuring consistent productivity levels, and they needed to monitor workflows, ensure tasks were completed efficiently, and maintain strict compliance with HIPAA regulations. So they had a lot of quality concerns as well. Beyond just completing tasks, the team had to ensure that their services, such as billing and customer service, met the highest standards. Any lapse in quality could impact their claim approval rate, and more importantly, their reputation. And so this is how Time Doctor came about. They implemented Time Doctor, and according to Sarah Beth Herman, the CEO, Time Doctor became their productivity compass. It highlighted how how their team was accountable. It wasn't just logging hours; it was about ensuring those hours were spent productively. And on the quality front, Time Doctor's tracking and reporting features ensure that tasks were not only completed quickly, but also with precision and adherence, with a staggering 99% for more clients. And sorry, uh, um, it improved operational efficiency between 86 and 89%, and a staggering 99% for claim approval success rates. So, in a nutshell, with Time Doctor, dentistry support didn't have to choose between productivity and quality. They achieved a harmonious blend of both. So, use of technologies to strike a balance. We're going to go very quickly here to summarize our presentation essentially. Balancing quality and productivity is the cornerstone of success in a BPO industry. And so here are just some of the points that we want to share with you. Oh, here it is. How to balance. That's our slide that we wanted to present with you all. And so how to balance. Here's a summary of our presentation. Uh, Automation, goal setting, leveraging tools like Time Doctor and Klaus, adopting a Kaizen approach to culture, refining processes and best practices, leveraging cloud for automated feedback, analyze conversations, insights, and uh, targeted training based on feedback is critical. These are just some of the tools that you guys can leverage within your organizations. And with that, we will wrap up by going into our Q&A section. All right, we have a couple of questions here. So the first question is, have have remote working conditions made it easier or harder to focus on quality versus productivity? Ksenia, how about you?
Sure, I'm gonna take this one. Like even before the COVID, one of our company's priorities was to find uh, the agent with the requirements that clients were looking for. And sometimes it was like native speakers. So we operate worldwide, and it's been true for all those 13 years that we've been in the market. So for us, when the COVID happened, we didn't feel this huge. Of course, it was like emotionally, challenging for everyone, right, in the world. But when it comes to adapting to remote conditions, we didn't have to adapt because we already had all the tools and strategies that were super successful. And just to comment on this one, in my opinion, if and from the experience, if agents have all the clear guidelines and performance metrics, and they have all the tools in place to make their daily routine as easy as possible, and they have, all the SOPs in place, then it's okay for them to focus on quality and to reach these productivity goals that we have. So, from my experience, it didn't make everything harder. It was just, a shift. Of course, more and more teams became working remotely, started to work remotely. But yeah, since we were ready, it was not a hardship.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next question. Can AI be employed to predict and possibly mitigate agent attrition? Grace, your thoughts on that?
I think this is a tough one because can it predict agent attrition? I mean, mainly if you look at someone who's in disengaging from their job and disengaging to the point where their performance is lacking, then presumably if a manager, I'm talking about like ways that AI would be able to detect that. I think a human would be able to detect it before, right? If you're a manager who understands your team, then you're not needing to look at data sets to understand if someone is disengaging. On the other hand, I think it can certainly help bolster agent attrition. And by that, I mean reduce it if you are using AI to help your customer service agents improve as best as they can. And by that, I don't mean, throwing a lot of AI technology on them that they'll find bewildering and possibly even a little bit scary and might fear for their job. I mean, taking a very measured approach and using technologies, like we said before, using a smart AI chatbot to make sure that all of the common questions can be taken off their hands. And therefore, they're answering the questions that are more interesting, and they can deliver, more value to the customer by having an actual human answer it instead of a bot. If the bot can manage it, then perfect. It's freeing up more of their time to do more of the valued work. Similarly, from Klaus's point of view, the way that our AI works is to help the QA analysts get a much, much better viewpoint of their entire support ecosystem. And, that's with, like I said before, using the tools like our sentiment analysis and using tools like our auto QA, which helps you, basically just work at a much, much smarter capabilities that you would have had before.
Yeah, thank you. And I would say I just add a little bit to that is that we are actually working on a quick prediction algorithm. As we gather so much data from all of our customers, we're able to, with a good degree of success, inform when potential employees are behaving in a way where they're losing that interest in the work. And so we're working through that, and that's a feature that's coming up very soon. That'll be an interesting play on the market and understanding when to reduce attrition in the workplace. Has another question here: has approach to quality assurance changed with introductions of AI and human support? Who would like to take on that?
I mean, from our point of view, yes, our tool has changed dramatically in regards to how AI is able to help teams just get such a better understanding of what they're doing, and also be able to, implement much more effective coaching techniques and make sure that they're improving faster and better than they have before, just because they're armed with such better information. Um, Having said that, has the approach changed? I guess the approach has always been to be of better quality.
Yeah, and
There are
I
a lot.
totally agree on that. Sorry, Rodrigo.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to support Grace on this one because, right now, an agent should be really like equipped with all those tools and technologies. And sometimes it's not only about the AI, right? So AI, of course, that's great. It provides great ways to summarize, expand answers, and so on. But yeah, great use of technology really enables agents to focus on investigation, on helping customers with difficult inquiries, and that's really nice approach here.
There are lots of questions on AI in the Q&A today. Now let's do a non-AI question, which is how are communications tools like Slack or email help perform the QA according to the stats shown?
I think this is going back to the stats that we showed of how different teams perform quality assurance. We actually have a Slack integration, which helps people keep track of their reviews, of their assignments, and of their feedback as well. And what we usually really, really report with that is that people really love how easy it is to give feedback on the communication channel that they are, most used to using. So whether that is a Slack channel or whether that is email itself, it means that the agent is getting the best details and in the fastest way possible, feedback on what they're doing and how they can improve. And really, it depends on the team as to how they want to use that. But that's how we purport to do it in Klaus.
And I
Excellent.
just like to add here about, like Slack or email or any other communication channel when there is, everything and agents use like a lot of different tools. It's sometimes It's easy to be confused with all that information, like escalating tickets through Slack rather than through a help desk. So just, a general observation about like Slack, email, or any other communication tool that's daily workflow procedures are really important, great escalation, and having everything clear and consistent.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. This concludes our presentation. Remember, we're all here to support and guide you in striking the right balance between quality and productivity. Thank you for our hosts joining us today, and thank you, everyone, watching. And we hope to see you in future webinars. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Uh,